Welcome to the Sample Chapter Podcast, the show where authors read a sample chapter from one of their books. Here's your host, Jason A. Meiske.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 205 of the Sample Chapter Podcast. Oh my goodness. We have such a wonderful guest with us this week, one that I cannot wait to get over to the interview. We are speaking with Talia Shelton. Talia is not only unique because of her amazing fantasy and mythology stories that she writes, but she is also a 13-year-old seventh grader. And I am just blown away with this young lady's talent and the things that we're going to discover about her and about her writing. It's so much fun. Among those things, we are talking about her novel itself, which is Kamp Kaeger Kids, and it's a story about finding and discovering yourself. We're also discussing the influences that she has in Greek mythology and including creating her own mythological creatures for her stories, and the short stories, fantasy short stories that she likes to write on the side. All that and so much more is coming up here real soon. It's a delightful interview, and Talia is just a lot of fun. She's got a fun little giggle once in a while that comes out, and you're going to really enjoy this. So that's coming up here in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. As for me, I am back in the saddle, so to speak, with writing on Bandit 2. Took some time this weekend and had a really good couple of writing sprints. Wrote, another chapter or so, and I'm back in the flow. That's the good thing. I'm back in the flow. You know, it's been very intermittent. I'll write for a day, and then it feels like I have a week of nothing. And then I write for another day, or maybe even 2 days, and then nothing. And, it's very intermittent. And the last, 4 or 5 days now, I haven't written every day, but I have been thinking about it. I think last week I mentioned how I've had a lot of notes I've been making about Bandit 2. And that's, I think, been helpful because I've been thinking a lot about it. So whenever I sat down, I just kind of let go of my conscious thought of trying to plan things and was like, I know what I'm trying to say here, so let's just write. Because I'm at that stage now where it's like, I just want to finish the draft. Let's just get that done because you can't edit something that hasn't been written, right? So that's where I am right now. I want to hurry up and get the draft done so I can keep going, get back into it later on, and start editing and fine-tuning it and going from there. And, my original hopes were to be done with the draft. I think I originally had hoped I'd be done with the draft in February at the latest, and then editing to try and put the next book out in April, which is not going to happen. So I think at this stage, if I can keep up the momentum I've got, and then of course if the editing goes well, then maybe I'm looking at June. And that wouldn't be bad because all of this work is also kind of feeding into what I want to do for book 3 and informing what I want to do going forward. So hopefully that'll help out. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the direction it's going. I love hearing these characters, and especially the new characters that I'm introducing in this story who are, they're telling me things that I hadn't thought about. And it's such a unique experience. If you're a writer, you know what I'm talking about. But to be writing the scene and the characters are just, I'm going with the flow of here's the scene and they're talking back and forth and, well, what happened here and how did that happen on there? And the characters tell me, well, this is how that happened, which leads you into a discovery of something that you hadn't thought about before. But it's that almost mystical way that your mind as a writer connects to the character and their personality, and that personality comes through onto the page. I hope. Anyway, but it's certainly coming through my mind, and I've been surprised a time or two with what I'm discovering about these characters and the situations that they are getting into. Speaking of Bandit 2, I need to get a hold of my cover artist because he actually sent me the cover art for Bandit 2 a while back, and I haven't been able to respond because anybody who's been following along had a lot of drama in the last couple months. And so I've just kind of put everything off for a while. But I need to get back to him because the cover art for Bandit 2 looks amazing. But it's not exactly what I want yet. And I'm not quite at the stage of ready to share it yet. But rest assured, as soon as I'm ready to share it, I will tell you where to look for it so that way you can find it on social media and you can see what that looks like. Another exciting thing is here very, very soon. As of this recording, which is coming out on March 15th, later that evening, I'm going to be a guest on the Back in Time podcast, which I've been a long-time follower of the show. I think we started around the same time, roughly, 2018. And it was really cool because we've been talking back and forth, and they're having me come on to discuss my books, and in particularly Bandit Chronicles, because that's an 80s throwback, and they are an 80s throwback podcast. And we're going to be talking about that, and we're also debating sharing our own list of top 5 Batman movies. So if you want to hear what my favorite Batman movies are, and you want to hear maybe some secrets about Bandit, then you want to make sure and tune into that. I don't know when that episode will air, and for that matter, I don't even know if this is going to be live. It may be, because I think they have some episodes that are live. So you want to look them up on, I think, YouTube. I know they have a channel on YouTube, and maybe they do some live stuff streaming there. But yeah, check them out. It's the Back in Time podcast. And of course, once the episode is live and is being shared, I will share it as well. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am still planning on being at Reader's World in Sedalia, Missouri, April 2nd. I'm going to be there with the writing group. We're all going to be selling our books and just having a good time. I don't have the times yet. I'm still waiting to confirm that with the store on when that's taking place. But rest assured, as soon as I have that information, I will share it with you. And then I am still planning to be at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City later in April. Right now, tentatively, I'm looking to be there all 3 days. I think I've mentioned before, I won't have a booth, but I will be wandering around, visiting with people. And right now, I'm just waiting to hear how many or if any panels and interviews I'll be involved in with the show. So that's going to be exciting. And of course, I'll let you know whenever I have more information about that. Well, before we get over the interview, I want to make sure and take a minute to thank our longtime sponsor, Scrivener. As you know, I do all of my writing there in Scrivener. It's amazing because I've got all of my character information, my location details, where this is, even pictures of it within there. In fact, I've got pictures of some of the characters. If I think there's an actor that looks like this one or that, character, then I have those in there for help, for reference. And of course, chapter breakdowns, and I can move the chapters around. No more needing to copy and paste. You literally drag and drop and put things where they need to go to put them in the order that you want them to go into. That corkboard is amazing. Check out this advertisement and learn how you can save 20% on the regular desktop version. Jason here. Hey, I wanted to take a moment and tell you about my favorite writing tool, Scrivener. Now, I know you've heard about Scrivener because their writing software has been embraced by hundreds of thousands of other writers like you and I, from the novice to best-selling novelists. The reason we all use it is because of Scrivener's core concept to bring all the writing tools you use together in a single application. And with tools like automatic backup, character maps, project goals, and let's not forget that amazing corkboard, you can see why I use Scrivener every day. As a bonus for Sample Chapter Podcast listeners, use code CHAPTER for 20% off your desktop version. Scrivener writing software, built by writers for writers. Okay, thank you once again to Scrivener. I also want to thank an affiliate of the show, Writer's Block Coffee. As an affiliate, that means if you click the link in the show notes for Writer's Block Coffee, I believe it's writersblockcoffee.com/sample chapter. You go in there and you make an order. then you're going to save 10% on whatever you order. And of course, if you don't follow that link and you just go right into Writer's Block, make sure you use the coupon code sample chapter and you get the same discount, the 10% discount on that. They have 3 different flavors as of right now. The Deadline Dark, which is sure to keep you up at all hours as you're burning that midnight oil on your stories. The my personal favorite, the Whiskey Barrel Aged Blend, which is just fantastic. And of course, their signature blend, the Writer's Block Coffee. Order one or set it up on auto ship. Try them all. I highly recommend it. And I know you're going to like that. So click that link in the show notes to order some. And of course, as an affiliate, the show gets a little bit of something, a little bit of a kickback that helps go towards costs, production costs, and paying for our website. Finally, I want to thank Pop Goes the Culture Network, home to about 10 different shows, all of them pop culture related, and some fantastic shows there. The flagship show, Pop Goes the Culture Podcast, has been having a lot of fun lately doing a Nicolas Cage cage match. And what it is they are picking movies where they replace a character or an actor in that movie with Nicolas Cage, and then debating on which one is best. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been really interesting to hear that. Like one of them that they said was having Nicolas Cage replace Kathy Bates in Misery. I mean, yeah, that kind of works, in one way. If you get unhinged Nicolas Cage, it kind of works, doesn't it? So, so click that link in the show notes if you want to hop on over and check out some of those episodes. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun at that podcast, and so are all the other shows on the network. Well, hey, make sure you are following the Sample Chapter Podcast on all social media. We are available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's just very easy to find at Sample Chapter Podcast. If you want to reach out to the show, you can do so by emailing me at samplechapterpodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave me a voicemail that I could play on an upcoming episode by calling 660-851-1146. And that would be fun. I got an interesting call the other day, but I don't know what happened. It didn't record. I just got like 15 seconds of silence. So if you tried to call, make sure you actually leave me a message. Don't just hang up. Leave me a message, people. Come on, give me a call. All right. Hey, without further ado, I think it's time to stop what I'm doing and let's get over to our interview with dynamic 13-year-old author Talia Shelton. Hello, Sample Chapter listeners. Oh my goodness, today I have a very special guest for you. We are going down to Jacksonville to introduce to you a brand new author, a 13-year-old author, by the way, in 7th grade, named Talia Shelton. Talia has written 2 books so far, with her first one having just come out in December, called Kamp Kaeger Kids. And it is an exciting Greek mythology-based story that I cannot wait to dive into. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming to the show, Talia Shelton. How are you doing, Talia?
I'm good.
Well, so now, how long have you been writing so far?
I've never gotten serious about writing until probably 5th grade, but I've always wrote little things.
Okay. Yeah. What do you like to write the most?
I most enjoy writing fantasy or short stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I used to do that an awful lot. I think it was when I was in junior high, way back in the dark ages. I did a lot of short stories of my friends and I. I say dark ages. I was back in the 80s when I was in junior high. And I wrote a lot of short stories of my friends and I going on adventures. And we were, monsters, or somebody would be attacking the school. And so we were going to save the school and help out all of our friends, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, much the same. I didn't get serious until I was older, so older than 13, unfortunately. So tell me about Kamp Kaeger. Now, where did that idea come from?
I got inspired by certain TV shows and books,
Mhm.
specifically Percy Jackson. That's where the Greek mythology came from.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not sure how I came up with the name Kager, but I had a lot of different ideas, and Kamp Kaeger Kids is the one that sounded right to me. So that's the one I used.
Yeah. Well, it's a very unique name, and it makes it stand out. I like that. So, and you have a minotaur in this as your main character. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, tell us about the minotaur.
She was born into a Minotaur family, but she she isn't one, but she's grown up her whole life thinking she was. So in my book, I created a fictional, well, my own Greek mythology creature called a Pitu, which she really is. And it's a Pitu is supposed to be the most powerful type of creature in their world, but they're all in human form.
Oh.
So they're just descendants.
Okay. All right. Well, that actually makes sense, and it's that's very mythological to have it where they're in human form, but they have this descendant line, and that's really cool that you got that set up like that. So what? And she goes through like a lot of weird situations and so on. What are one of the things that she's got to deal with?
One of the things happened. So one of her enemies in the book is Sebastian Saul. So he has it out for her, and one night he drowned her. It's in a bathroom stall until somebody came and interrupted that. So that's just one of the things happened. But another thing that happened was he pushed her downstairs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what was the hardest part about writing this book?
The hardest part was editing and plot holes.
Mm.
Um, that was a big thing for me because I couldn't find a plot that sounded right to me. So I decided to put it into the well, the whole thing that she's supposed to accomplish is finding herself and discovering herself. So I decided to make it an adventure instead of mm, I made an adventure. That's just for the first book. I plan for it to be a whole series.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I think that's pretty cool though that you've got that kind of a theme where a 13-year-old girl in here is finding and discovering herself, which is very relatable. I think, especially at that age and even longer. So that's
Yeah.
quite the theme you've got. Well, what was your favorite part of writing it?
My favorite part was probably the scene where they were invited to a party where they were basically forced to play a game of capture the flag against like highly trained serial killers.
That does sound like fun. Oh my goodness. So what about when you were writing this, how many drafts did you do and how did it change from the first draft to the finished product?
It changed so much. I finished my first draft. It wasn't going to be about 13-year-olds. At first, it was going to be about kids in high school.
Mm.
So, and it was a lot of stuff that's going to happen, like just your normal like troubled teens going out and doing all that stuff. But I decided to change it when I finished that draft because I felt it was a little too short and it was missing a lot. So I wrote a whole nother part to it and just mashed it all up. And that's when it became a Greek mythology thing.
Okay. Yeah. Did you do a lot of research to prepare for this?
Yeah, when I first started, I researched a lot of things about Greek mythology, creatures to find the right ones I want to use. I searched up a lot of places, and I really looked into and studied the not necessarily the culture, but the history of Greek mythology.
Oh, that's fascinating. Hearing a little bit of what went into each story, the background to it, and how they came about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That would be interesting to learn some more about that. I'm not sure. I think my oldest daughter could probably teach me a few things, but I don't think I know too much about it, or at least I don't remember that anyway anymore from when I was in school. So, in thinking about your main character, what is the main character's name?
Her name is Claw.
Claw. Okay, that's really cool.
It's short for Claudette. That's why it's spelled the way it is.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, CLAU. I got it. I like that though, the Claw and Claudette. Well, in thinking of Claw, do you think she is somebody that you would get along with and that you could be friends with?
She's a little too nice and too much of a. She's too forgiving. Like even through some of the stuff that Sebastian did to her, she just never held a grudge against him. She was too forgiving for me.
All right. Well, that's a good answer though. So what was your process? Like were you just kind of writing all the time anytime you had a moment, or did you have a specific time of day like okay, I got to get up early and start writing, or was it like late in the evenings? What was your writing process like?
It was definitely whenever I had time. I started the summer of 2021,
Mm.
and I started, I think it was either the end of July or beginning of August. And I had those few months to write whenever I wanted. But when school started, that's when I had to basically take time out of the day to write. And I created this schedule or to-do list
Hmm.
to basically write 1,000 words a day.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, I mean, if you started this last summer and the book came out in December, you did really good then to put this together pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm currently writing the second and third book in the series. And well, I've started on both, but I've wrote about 6 chapters of the second one, and I probably only wrote one chapter of the third one because I'm also writing a few other books that are outside the series.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, are these also going to be in the same vein, like the same kind of story, a Greek mythology like, or are they something completely different?
They're completely different. I have one that I just finished like writing the first chapter. It was it's called Wind of Peril. It's a dystopian basically.
Oh, my goodness.
Um, and my other book is called The Winking Assassin. I don't know if you've ever played the game The Winking Assassin, but that's what it's based off of. But it's not supposed to be them playing the game. It's I'm basically made the game into a story. So my two main characters are Sage and Natalia.
Mm-hmm.
So um Sage has a lethal wink, I guess you could say. But it's like by day he's training to be a detective right now, and but he's also a assassin and thief by night. So they were assigned a project basically to capture him, basically him capture himself. So basically throughout this whole case, he's trying to cover up everything and it's just crazy.
It sounds like it. Oh my gosh. You're just impressing the heck out of me. I mean, when I was 13, I wouldn't have known what dystopian meant. I would have thought that was like dish soap or something. I would not have understood that at all. So you are really impressing me with how fast you're writing and coming up with these stories, and then working on the sequels as well. So what has been a challenging part of writing a sequel?
I mean, coming up what to write in the sequels. Like in the second one, I don't want a spoiler.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily want to spoil it, but it may upset some people what's happening in the sequel right now. Um, but the sequel is the second book in the sequel is a murder mystery, and the third one is basically an adventure again. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I can relate a little bit to that, but most of my books have been, all of mine have been standalone stories until in October I wrote my first series, and I'm almost done with the second book, and it's been a real headache having the getting a story that continues the adventures of my characters and yet telling a new story as well. But oh, don't forget their what color eyes there were from the other story, and then another character, and like, oh wait, no, they didn't have that before. They had this, and oh,
yeah.
had to
I had
had,
to create I had to create a lot of spreadsheets to keep
yep.
up with my character, the appearances, their whole family line, all of it.
Oh my goodness. Do you so now you write this on Word, or do you use something like Scrivener?
I use Google Docs.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good one to use as well. So that's my wife uses that a lot. She keeps trying to teach me, but I'm a big Scrivener fan myself. So, well, this is excellent. I'm so thrilled for you. How soon do you think your next book will be available?
I plan to have the second one out by maybe sometime in the summer, definitely.
Okay. Well, that's moving pretty fast. That's really good. That'll be, yeah, at that pace. You got a book every 6 months, and that's really impressive. That's faster than most authors I know and that have been on the show as well. So you're doing really good. Oh my goodness. Well, Talia, this has been a delight, and I wish you all the best. Please make sure to reach out to us and let us know whenever your next book comes available, so we can help share word about it.
I will.
All right. Well, where can people find and follow you so that they can learn more about you and your books?
My book is currently only on Amazon, but it's available in all formats. There's paperback, hardcover, and well, ebook. Yeah, and you can get it on if you have a Kindle. It's of course it's free.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna have to add that to my cart right now. So, and everybody listening, I've talked about this in previous episodes. Another really good way to follow an author, such as teen sensation here, Talia, go on to Amazon. Just click the links in the show notes. I'm going to make sure there's a link there. So everybody click that link to go to her Amazon page and then follow her author page. So that way, anytime she has a book available, a new book, then you're going to get a notice from Amazon letting you know that a new book has come available from Talia Shelton. And that'll be a good way to follow until someday then you decide to get a website or other social media or whatever. So, but that's awesome that you have this available and the Kindle Unlimited. I'm a big fan of Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, I also have a writing account. It's on TikTok. I mainly just post about my progress on my book and tips on how to write certain things.
Oh, very cool. Well, I will have to get that link from you on for your TikToks. That way, I can share that in the show
Yeah.
notes as well. Talia, thank you so much for reaching out and for coming on the show. I've had a blast talking to you and hearing about how you've created these amazing worlds, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for me to step aside and hand the floor over to my wonderful guest, Talia Shelton with Kamp Kaeger Kids, Runaways.
Thank you for having me. The first chapter is Welcome to Kamp Kaeger. Kamp Kaeger is a school for kids who come from families with powers. There are 6 families in our world. You have the Shimmer, the Chimera family, the Siren family, the Minotaur family, the Archangel family, the Manticore family, and the Gorgon family. The Gorgons are most hated because of Medusa being a Gorgon. One thing about me, I grew up in a Minotaur family, but I don't look like any of them. Also, today is my first day at Kamp Kaeger, and it's off to a wonderful start. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Hey, Claw. Do I know you? Nope, but you do now. Texine Gacy, member of the Archangel family. So why don't you look like the rest of your family? I'm sure that's a very personal thing, Texine. Who are you? Brielle Bassett, member of the Manticore family. Thanks for the introduction, but you can move along now. Texine, I've heard about you, daughter of Shayu Fan Gacy and Cecil Gacy, most feared archangels. I wonder why you turned out like you did. What's that supposed to mean? Well, everyone knows archangels are protectors. And well, you and your parents are the opposite. You think you're better than the other kids, but you're not. While Texine and Brielle are arguing, I see these 2 girls out in the field fighting at the corner of my eye. I can't say it's exciting to see a fight on the first day, but it's different here. Look out in the field. Huh? Look out in the field. That's Pam Shawcross and Samantha Grace Sutcliffe. Why are they fighting on the first day? Oh, just your classic Siren versus Shimmer fight. It's kind of a tradition for them to fight on the first day now that I think about it. Pam. I turn around to see Samantha Grace trying to cut me with her hunter's knife. I scoot back off the ground and run. I look back as I'm running to see Samantha Grace chasing me. I pick up my sword off the ground. Samantha Grace screams at me. Maybe the Shimmerers can claim another Siren body today. The fact that you see that as an achievement disgusts me. Pam Shawcross is a member of the Siren family, and Samantha Grace Sutcliffe is a member of the Chimera family. These 2 families have been at war for centuries, ever since Ariel, a member of the Shimmer family, killed Lilith Ezra, a member of the Siren family. Oh, after Samantha Grace screams at me, she throws her knife. I feel her knife brush my ear. Did you just throw a knife at me? It sure looks that way, doesn't it? What? Are you going to do something about it? All I can say is that the fight didn't seem that serious for it to be between 2 people that hate each other. Think about this moment the next time you approach me. This isn't over. I think we need to leave now. No, wait, I want to see this. Me too. I bet you would love to be friends. Don't flatter yourself, Texine. We need to go. Pam is going to turn. Calm down, she can't turn. Why? She hasn't learned how to yet. It's on the first day. Benjamin Donovan. Calm down, Samantha. Pam, Lady Carmine is waiting for you. Who's that? That's Benjamin. That's Benjamin Donovan. His parents are some of the most powerful Manticores. Don't you just love his hair? Ugh. Odd question, but it's okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just red. Yeah, okay. I had to do something. I couldn't just let Samantha Grace Sutcliffe, a Shimmer, beat me. No way. We're finishing this, Samantha. It's already finished. Counselor's office now. Ugh. We're going to finish this sooner or later. Come on. Everybody, you can get your schedule and cabin numbers in the counselor's office. I'm going to go to the office and get my schedule and cabin number. I'll come with you. Me too. Ugh. Your hatred towards me feels more like jealousy. In your dreams, Texine. If you weren't jealous, you wouldn't have any reason to hate me. Mocks Texine. If you weren't jealous, you wouldn't have any reason to hate me. Can we just go? Yeah, come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Talia Shelton reading a sample chapter from her debut novel, Kamp Kaeger Kids. Hey, make sure you click that link in the show notes for her social media, her TikTok, and the Amazon page as well, where you can pick up a copy of the book. And make sure you follow her on Amazon so that way you know when her next book is available. While you're down there, make sure you click the links for all of our sponsors and affiliates and podcast friends alike, and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out next time when I'm back with a new author, a new book, and an all-new sample chapter. Take care, everybody. We're going to talk to you again real soon.